So, hi. Welcome to my presentation. I am Vojtech Trefny. I have a talk with this very long name, but it can be shortened to basically Packit appreciation talk, because Packit is great and I think more people should be using it. So, who am I? I'm actually not a Packit developer. I am working in Red Hat in a team called Storage Management, and we are just Packit users. And as I said, I think Packit is great. We are very happy with it, and I hope by telling you how we are using it, I will inspire some of you to also use it, or maybe we will find some new use cases. Our team is in a kind of special position because we are both upstream and downstream for basically all of our projects. So we control both the upstream GitHub repositories and the Fedora and Trefny packages. And we are trying to use automation, continuous integration, wherever it's possible to basically make the maintenance both upstream and downstream easier. We are a small team, we have a lot of stuff, and Packit is really great for that. So how we use Packit? We are using it for both manual and automated testing in our upstream projects, and for automation in downstream, which means Fedora dist-git. This includes doing some builds in Copper, daily builds on pull requests, some that we use for our various CI jobs, and the automation in Fedora dist-git for releases, updates, and this stuff. Also, as I said, our team is called Storage Management, and that means we are providing some management APIs for storage for other projects. We have a lot of users, for example, Cockpit or Anaconda, and when we work with them, and we are fixing bug for them or providing new feature or basically just asking them to test something, the first question from them is, oh, how can I test it? Give me an RPM package. And Packit is great for that. We can just send them the repo created by Packit and they can use it directly. So to the specific use cases that Packit does for us. First is daily builds in Copper. It's daily in quotation marks because basically for every commit that is merged to the upstream repo, Packit does an automatic Copper build. As I said, because we also control the upstream, this is very simple for us. We have spec files and Packit configuration in the upstream GitHub repository, but that's not necessary with GitHub. It helps, but there are some stuff that you can do with Packit even if you don't control the upstream. On all these slides, on the right side, I have a small piece of Packit configuration code. It's a standard YAML file. You don't really need to understand it right now. It just shows how very simple it is. This six lines of YAML is basically everything we need to do to create daily builds in Copper repository. As I said, if something is committed to the upstream repository, it's built in this Copper project. Very simple. And as I said before, these daily builds are then used for testing across all our projects that depends on each other and for some other projects that depend on us. So, Copper builds for pull requests. This is very similar to the daily builds, but for every pull request created, Packit automatically does a build in Copper. This time it's a temporary Copper repository. I think that stays up for like 7 or 14 days or something like that. And it, again, very simple, helps with testing. It's just a simple smoke test that's like, okay, the RPM package still builds after the changes you made. You didn't forget to add some build requires to spec file or whatever. And we can also take the repository and give it to the user or bug reporter and says, yeah, we prepared fix. If you want to test it, here's a Copper repository for you. But that's not the only testing that Packit does for us. The second part of the very long name of the presentation mentioned Fedora testing farm, which is Fedora CI, not used not only in Fedora, but also in CentOS and other places. And Packit can basically run tests in testing farm as well. Packit creates the RPM packages using the testing farm API, creates the VM that is needed for testing, installs the packages just created from that, and run the test there. Again, the configuration is very simple. Just in this case, only 5 lines, and it will automatically run tests on pull requests in latest stable Fedora, latest Fedora for the pull request using the APIs from testing farm. This is very nice, especially for our projects, because storage is really hard to test in containers. We need VMs. In containers, we can't really do anything else than running unit tests. So with testing farm, we can run tests on VMs provided by testing farm. And it doesn't need any additional configuration. It uses the standard testing farm TMT configuration, so we can also use testing farm directly with the TMT CLI, run the tests locally. We don't have special configuration just for Packit CI, which is also very nice. So reverse dependency testing. If you are a Rel package maintainer, you probably heard about reverse dependency. This basically means that you want to run test suites of the projects that depend on your project. As I said, we provide a lot of APIs for other projects, and we want to be sure that the changes we made don't break their use cases. This is something that was started by Cockpit project. They actually contacted us a few years ago and said, hey, here's the configuration. This will basically run Cockpit test suite on udisks, which is one of our projects, and it will make sure that you don't keep breaking the API we are using. And the configuration for this is a little bit more complicated this time, but it's still very easy for what it does. You basically need to tell it, hey, this completely different GitHub repository, I want you to take that and run the tests that are somehow defined in it. We are using it, as I mentioned, with Cockpit, but also with our projects that depend on each other. And it takes the same Packit configuration, same Fedora testing farm or TMT configuration, and the copy repositories we built, takes the package built from the pull request, install it there, downloads the repository of the reverse dependency, runs the tests, make sure that everything works. It's really simple and really nice. So this was the building part in upstream, but the biggest part that Packit is probably known for is the downstream automation in Fedora. Building packages, updating packages in Fedora is not that complicated, but it's not also very simple and straightforward. With Packit and this quite simple configuration, all it takes is I make an upstream release, I do a git tag, and then everything else that's needed to do in Fedora can be automated. Packit detects the new release, new git tag, creates a Koji build, or in our case, it creates pull requests in Pagure, in Fedora dist-git. You can decide yourself what is best for your use case. For some of our packages, we don't really want updating some older versions of Fedora. The screenshot on the right on the top, I basically decided, yeah, I don't want to push this newest version to Fedora 40 or 41 because there are some backwards incompatible changes. So I just close the pull request there and merge only the pull requests for newer versions of Fedora. And then everything else is automated. After merging the pull requests, Koji build is run, and for versions where Bodhi is active, Bodhi is also triggered and automatically creates a Bodhi update. And everything I just mentioned is not only on Fedora. We are also using it for some Rel and CentOS stream development automation. In our case, we have special branches in upstream for CentOS stream or Rel development, and we are doing pull requests there as well. And Copper can help us with making sure that we backported everything correctly. It runs the tests, again, does the RPM builds. And it's not just the Fedora/Rel CentOS ecosystem. An hour ago, probably, there was a talk from the actually Packit team and some OpenSUSE developers that they recently added support for using Packit together with Open Build Service for building OpenSUSE packages. So if you are interested in that, I strongly recommend watching the recording for that talk. And there are a lot more interesting stuff that I don't have time to mention. Packit has a CLI tool. If you need to build RPM locally, you don't need to create pull requests. You can just tell Packit to build the RPM locally, and you have RPM without needing to play with mock or something. OpenScan Hub, which is static analysis tool, was added for me completely randomly. One day I created a new pull request, and it was scanned by OpenScan Hub without me changing any configuration. And that can be also triggered manually with the Packit CLI. So if you want to make sure that you didn't break anything without actually creating a pull request, you can just tell Packit to scan your changes, and it will send it to OpenScan Hub and create an OpenScan Hub scan for you automatically. So yes, as I said, Packit is great. If you are a package maintainer in Fedora or even upstream developer who works in Fedora/RHEL ecosystem, consider checking it, maybe trying some of the features. The integration with testing farm helps a lot. It's just a CI done basically for free, and the dist-git automation saves a lot of time. For if you are Fedora developer, a Fedora packager, you don't even need to work with the upstream at all. You can just use Packit to automate the Koji builds and the body updates if you want. So thank you. If you want more information about Packit, there are some links for Packit. If you are interested in how we are using it, you can check our GitHub and see the Packit configuration files where the snippets were all from. So thank you, and if you have any questions.
When you get packet failures, build it on failures, who fixes it? Your team or you?
Yes, as I said, we are also upstream, both the upstream and downstream. The question was, what happens when the Packit build fails? Who is supposed to fix that? In our case, we are on both ends of upstream and downstream, so it's always us. If you are just the Fedora maintainer, then you need to identify whether the problem is in Fedora. You need to update the spec file or something. Then it's your problem. Or if it's a bug in upstream, then you need to contact upstream, and the same way you would with any bugs. Okay. Any other question? No problem. We have time.
How much time did it save you by focusing on Fedora with Packit and fixing bugs up there? I mean, backwards down to RHEL, big speed up.
The question is how much time it saves, and with Fedora and RHEL development and bugs. Yeah, especially the downstream automation for doing the Fedora builds. That's like doing one build is maybe an hour if I need to do everything manually, usually forgetting to create the body updates and stuff like that. So that saves a lot of time. And in upstream, we are using it as a CI, so can't tell if that really saves time. It definitely saves time because we don't have to fix bugs, but it's the same way as any other CI. This way is just easier to set up for me, let's say. And we are out of time, so thank you for your attention.